A lot of you don't know how to scale when it comes down to Facebook ads. And I completely understand because it's hard to learn how to scale if you don't have a winning product or if you don't have a few, let's say, low tier winner to practice. So if you don't have that, you cannot practice and you cannot be good when it comes down to scaling. There's a few things that we're going to look at today. They're extremely important, and I'm going to show you a screenshot of the brand that I've been documenting for the past few weeks and that made over 100,000 in sales. I'm going to show you the screenshot of the dashboard of TripleWhale because we use TripleWhale to track everything inside of Facebook ads because Facebook ads, as you guys know, if you've done it a little bit, it doesn't track quite well. But at the end of the day, we don't care. We use TripleWhale to be able to bypass all of those problems. And that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at those screenshot and I'm going to share with you my thoughts and why I did certain things, why I didn't did other things. And this way you will be able to learn when it's your time to be able to scale your product. So let's dive into it. Okay, so as you can see, this is the store that I was talking about. So in September 20 to January 2, we made 104,000. We created the store at basically the beginning of the Q4 to show you that it's still possible to make money in dropshipping 2024 moving to 2025. And this is the results. So basically, it is successful. You can still make a lot of money when it comes down to dropshipping in 2025. So let's get in the more crunchy part. So as you can see right here, we have some of our ads that we've created. So all of this is a campaign and all of this is an ABO. So ABO, basically ABO, what does that mean? It stands for budget at the ad set level, and all of them are ABOs. All of them have like the same or different budget depending on their strategy, but that's basically how it is. So as you can see on here, we have the first one that is coat, second one that is North Face, third one that is coat, clothing. So why there's so many coat? Why there's so many North Face? Why there's so many other interests? Like let's say Black Friday. Like it's a little bit confusing, and I kind of understand because I kind of know what's in there, but you guys don't know if it's the first time that you've been looking at at this dashboard. But I'm going to explain you everything, so bear with me. I'm going to tell you what you should understand. So basically, what happened? What happened is from the start we had two interests that were extremely profitable. Which one of them was extremely profitable? You can clearly see it was North Face and Coat. So those two interests were extremely profitable. So I decided right away to duplicate them and to test uh, more duplication with different budgets. So as you can see, Coat NC03, $60. So that basically that means that we launch an ABO at $60. So that's basically what does that mean. As you can see, the North Face TC 1115. Again, we launched a different North Face than the original one that is the third place, and it works and it was doing well. So we decided to create other things like the new lunch. So coat with new lunch, clothing with new lunch. Obviously, clothing was one that was performing great, but not as great as the other one. Well, we tried the North Face Test 2. We tried the North Face D1 to $60. So basically, the way that you should do things is the first thing is you need to find out what works the best. Okay, so you've launched six interests. You let it run for enough time, you have enough data, you see that four of them are not doing well, so you close them. Afterwards, then the two that you have, the first thing that you want to do is you don't want to find other interests. Why will you find other interests? You already have two that are working. So the first step is just to duplicate it. You can be conservative and duplicate them at the same budget or duplicate them at a higher budget, let's say $60 a day. And that's what I did with Coat NC03, $60, made me 30 sales, 5,000 in revenue. So this one was, in a way, the most profitable interest that I had. But it doesn't mean that the other ones were not profitable. A lot of them with $20 budget still remain profitable. So after that, I did that. What did I do? Well, I tried other interests. I tried other interests like clothing. I tried other interests like Black Friday. And overall, those were other two interests that were extremely profitable. So Black Friday and clothing were two extra interests that were profitable. And on here, you can clearly see that the main two ones were still the main two. They were making sales, but um, clothing and Black Friday started to pick it up a little bit. Obviously, I'm going to share with you not only this screenshot, but other screenshots. So bear with me. There's a lot of things that you probably won't understand now, but you will understand better when we go down the funnel of the other um, a screenshot that I'm going to share with you. So yeah, so this right here, like I said, we've tried a different budget. We've tried different creative also. As you can see, this TC1115, it's a different creative. The North Face Test 02 is a different creative. The Coat Clothing NC124 is different creative. So at first, you always want to keep the best creatives and you want to duplicate them into the same or higher budget. After that, you want to test other interests to see if there's more interest elsewhere, but the interest needs to be related to the main ones. As you can see, I've choose the interest clothing because why? It was related to coat and was related to North Face. Black Friday was not related to anything, but I thought it would be a good thing since I tested it close to Black Friday. So people were maybe interested to buy some codes during Black Friday, so it could make sense. So that was my thought process. So now let's look at the other one, the second campaign. As you can see on the second campaign, clothing was doing super well. Coat was doing well. We had sales with other new interests that were top clothing, Black Friday, snow looks really good. So as you can clearly see on this screenshot right here, clothing and coat were the most performing one. So you're probably asking, but what happened to North Face? North Face was doing so well. Now it's clothing and coat. I don't understand. Okay, so what you need to understand is that North Face fade away. So North Face was no longer working. It just fade away. So clothing started to pick it up and coat remained. So what I did on this campaign, as you can see, 6 to 10, 1 to 5, 21 to 5, I basically tested a lot of new creatives. And they were performing quite decently. They were performing great, but those were the two other interests that started, the continuation. So coat remained there, but clothing, North Face fade away, and clothing took his place. And that's what you need to understand is maybe an interest can give you 100 sales and die out. Maybe an interest can give you 9 sales and die out. You never know. Some interests are more powerful than others. So that's why you need to be emotionless and be like, okay, this one didn't work. This one worked. Perfect. The best ones, I'm going to duplicate them to make more money out of them. And I'm going to also duplicate them to change the creative to see if I can make more money, but with a little bit of different creative. So that should be your thought process. Always duplicate first to make more money out of what is working. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. It's already working. Duplicate to make more. And after that, then add more interest to find other pools of things that could work. That's basically what you should do. That's basically your thought process. So it's very simple. People make it too complicated, but should not be too complicated. As you can see right here, we tried also lookalike audiences, but bear with me, you need to understand that you need a minimum of 500 actions of anything that you have in order to do lookalike audiences. I have 500 purchases, over 3,000 add to carts. I have over 60,000 website visitors. So I had more than enough data to do lookalike audience. But as you can see, those lookalike audience, yes, they were profitable. Some of them are still running to this day, but they were not extremely profitable. So lookalike audience with this product didn't work like I was expecting. But still, it made money. Some of them were profitable. Overall, I was profitable. So who's going to say no to profitability? Nobody. So that's what you need to understand. After that, and you need to do this step by step. So the first thing, like I said, is you want to test the initial interest that you have. The ones that didn't work, you close them. The one that worked, you let it run until it's proven that it's running for a certain period of time and it's consistent, like let's say a week. You let run your interest for a week. If it doesn't die, then prove it's strong, it's consistent. So the next step is to duplicate it. You don't do anything else, you just duplicate it. Now you should have more sales. Maybe if you duplicate it, normally I duplicate it 3 times. So if you duplicate it 3 times, maybe one other interest would work or two other interests would work. Very rarely, all the three duplication would work because each one of those interests optimize differently. Even though it's the same interest, they optimize differently. That's why you need to always duplicate 3 times, and maybe one of them extra will work or two of them. Now that you have a few interests that are working, so you have maybe two, maybe three, now you need to start seeking for other pools. Maybe there's other interests out there that are even more lucrative. Who knows? Nobody knows. So you need to start testing a few interests here and there to see if there's other pools, like I did with clothing. Clothing was doing extremely well, and I even replaced North Face, the initial interest that was doing the most amount of sales. So it did replace it. I was able to find new interest. Everything was beautiful. Even Black Friday started to work and even is still working now because it was a late interest, so it's still working. It's going to pick up more sell eventually. But overall, I was able to do that. After, then you're like, okay, what is the next step? The next step is to try lookalike audiences because by this time, you'll have enough data. You'll have maybe 1,000 ATCs. You'll have maybe 500 purchases, 50,000 website visitors, whatever it is, you're going to have enough data. So the moment that you have enough data, what do you want to do? Is you want to try different lookalike audience. The best lookalike audience that I do is website visitors, is ATC, it's initiate checkout and purchases. So those are the best one. As you can see, the one that performed the best were ATCs and purchases. Purchases only one, but ATC were definitely doing way better. And normally purchases should work the best because it's the one that is the most optimized with people that buy. But if you don't test it, you don't know. People always believe that, oh no, I'm going to wait until I get like purchase lookalike audience and I'm going to make a lot of money. No, maybe ATCs are going to be the one that are going to make you a lot of money. Each product is different, so you need to test everything. And on here, I even tested a CBO campaign, as you can see. CBO campaign. Obviously, you're probably going to ask, okay, but is it still running? Did you turn it off? Well, it did perform well for the first, I believe, 6 days. So it performed well for the first 6 days with the top three interests, but it faded away afterwards. And that's the thing, guys. I never let run my interest if they're not making money. So let's say I run my interest by cycle. So let's say it takes me one sale every 5 days to break even. If I'm breaking even, I let it run. If, let's say, on the next cycle of 5 days, I get 3 sales, I let it run. I'm profitable, highly profitable. Now another cycle of 5 days and I make no sales. Then I close it. I don't get attached to it. I don't say, oh, maybe in the next cycle it's going. No, if you do that, you're going to end up spending too much, cutting your profit margin. And this is where a lot of people, they make 50K, 60K, 80K, 100K, and they're like, hey, I just made $2,000 profit. Why? Because they were too attached to the main interest. Look, North Face didn't work. So what did I do? I just cut it. That's it. Don't get attached to your interest. If it doesn't work, okay, maybe for the past 9 weeks it made money, but now it isn't making money. So move on. Maybe you can test it again in like 3 months or 1 month. But for now, it's not making money. So why keeping it? So always look at your product at the cycle that your product is. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if your product is, let's say you're running ads at $20 a day and your product is $60 profit margin, you need one sale every 3 days to know if you're profitable or not. And well, to know if you're at least you're breaking even, to be honest. Me, since I have a higher profit margin, I let it run for 5 or 6 days to know if it's profitable or not. So that's what you want to do. Those things are not complicated. You guys just expect too much of your interest or what's going on. A lot of you, the main problem that I see is that you see one interest that made you 9 sales. Okay, let's say 9 sales, and now you let it run for another 5 days because you're like, yeah, but it's going to make me another 9 sales. It wasn't profitable in the last cycle, but it's going to make me more sales. I know it's going to. No, guys, you need to understand that your products, when you're running with certain interest, the interest could make you 9 sales and start working. What do? I let it run. I know the first cycle it made 9 sales. So let me give it another cycle. And if it doesn't work, well, at least I just lost the like one product. So like the profit of one product. And that's what you need to understand. If let's say you let it run for 5 cycle, you will lose the equivalent of 5 products. So that's my thought process on everything that I do. So that's how you will save money and be able to be highly profitable. Obviously, you know, as you can see, I'm no different than you guys. Some interests made 1 sales, other ones made 0 sales. As you can see, one here, one. Uh, I'm showing you obviously the most profitable ones because that's what you want to look for and that's what you want to know. Okay, what did I do differently? But I have a lot of them that didn't make sales. I tested probably 20, 30 interests that didn't work, but it doesn't matter. Some of them made 30 sales. So if some of them didn't work, some of them are taking care of them. And that's what I want. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind that you want to build a structure like I just said. Start testing your product, find the interest that is working, isolate it, start scaling it. Afterwards, that you're making money and things are going well, then you want to find other pools. And eventually, when you find other pools, other interests that are working well, you want to test different creative to make sure that you don't, your product doesn't die out. And obviously, like you need to understand this product right here, it died out multiple times over the 3 months that I have been running it. The fact that it didn't actually died out is because I was testing new creative. I was testing consistently. Look at if we go on here and we go on this second campaign, we tested so many different creative. So 21 to 25 is different creative. 1 to 5, different creative. 6 to 10, different creative. Top 3 in UNC, different creative. So all of them were new creative that I was able to revive certain interests. Like clothing wasn't performing that well, but the fact that I added more creative, they were performing great. So that's what you need to understand. Like don't overcomplicate things. Simple. Invest more on what works. Put a little bit of your budget towards new interest, and after that you have interests that are working with duplication of those interests that are working, and you have a pool of also other interests that are also bringing sales here and there and they're quite consistent, then start testing new creative to make sure they don't die out. And that's pretty much it. That's what you want. Nothing too complicated here. So guys, if you have any question, anything, let me know down below. Wish you all an amazing rest of your day. Take care and peace out.